Welcome to Coffee with Creatives, everybody. Have a very, very special guest and a longtime friend, Corey Payne. Corey is a well-known visual artist who thrives in multiple mediums, including graffiti art, definitely mural art drawing, painting. I know you've done a bunch of album covers. I know you've done footwear. I know you've done art design. And you and I have known each other for years, going all the way back into music and drums and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just super psyched to be
Yeah,
here with you and catching up, man.
definitely.
Um,
Me too, man. Thanks. Yeah, I just like to mix it up, and yeah, I'm super psyched that to talk to you. So
cool, same. So how you been? Let's start there.
everything's been good. Yeah, just been pretty busy with a lot of different projects, and yeah, just like I was saying, like I like to mix it up. Like I know we go back like with the drums and everything. Like I like all different forms of art. So like just being able to do painting, like obviously murals is like that's like kind of where my heart is. I feel like that's like my main thing. But yeah, I love to be able to just mix it up and kind of like get my mind into different things and just kind of go through like little cycles of different forms of art, you know?
That's cool. It seems like you're going with whatever is like, like turning you on at the time, which is cool. Um,
Yeah,
it's true artistry, right? Like I feel my 2 cents on that whole thing is the art speaks through the person a lot of times, or at least I feel that way. And with that said, like what's turning you on right now, like in terms of your work, your art?
yeah. I mean, I think for me, my biggest thing right now is just like really like my family. I've just had my baby girl. She just turned 15 months a couple of days ago.
Oh man,
So that's
congrats.
like my biggest inspiration. It's like my best thing ever. Like that's everything for me. All I want to do is just paint her all day. So
That is so cool. So
cool.
have you done paintings of her already?
Yeah, yeah. There's a big one I did. You know where Black Eyed Sally's is, right? In
Yeah,
downtown Hartford.
sure.
Yeah, right next to Black Eyed Sally's, there's like a huge one. It's like 100 feet, and it's a baby picture of her, and then a baby picture of my wife Kayla, and it's like another one of Kayla on her dad's shoulders when she was a baby. So it's like kind of like full cycle of like different generations.
No way.
Yeah, you
And
gotta check it out.
is it in Black Eyed Sally's or is it like an outdoor mural?
It's an outdoor mural, so it's like it's the side of the Russian Lady building.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right there's like a parking lot right there. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, so
Corey,
you can't miss it if you drive by. You'll
I'm an old dude. I used to actually play gigs at the Russian Lady, so I'm actually the old Russian Lady. So I'm actually looking forward to getting down there and checking that out, man. It's been a long time, but
dude.
that's awesome. And the
That's
the
awesome,
idea
man.
of the cycle of life as well. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, yeah, it was cool to see. Then right around the corner is a big one I did of Kayla that's almost like the same height. It's like about 100 feet too. And so you can see them like line up from like the edge of the block. Like, so they kind of like almost, you can see them both in the same view if you like kind of go in the right spot.
No
So that's really
way.
cool.
That's awesome. That kind of reminds
Yeah.
it's like I know it's sort of like the cliche artist that everybody knows, but like I know like some of the Dali paintings, some of them are meant to have perspective where you have one on one wall and one on another, and then you have like a mirror in between the two, so you get like the full like circular image of the painting. So the idea of having a
Yeah.
perspective of your
That's
murals,
amazing.
yeah, like within like two of them, like it's kind of that's a really cool concept.
It started with the first one I did, and then the other one kind of just ended up being. It was supposed to be in a few different spots, and then it just kind of like that spot ended up being the one where it happened, and it's not really what we thought of in like the first place. But I wish if I knew like that those kind of things match up, it would be cool to like make a piece that like actually merges together
Yeah,
a little more and stuff. Like I love Dali. That's like one of my favorite artists ever.
that's
So
cool.
that's how I feel like I look at a lot of my art, like doing stuff like it's like almost like puzzle pieces. Like I like to collage a lot of stuff almost, and like I feel like it's like putting together a puzzle that I don't really know how it's gonna look like in the end or something. It's just like it kind of figures itself out and like pieces itself together.
Awesome. So coming up in New England, and honestly, I consider you to be a national artist. We know you have a pedigree in art. You have the BFA from the Hartford Art School, which I believe is the University of Hartford. Can you tell us a little bit about that culture and any affect? Because a lot of there's always like in arts, music, design, culture. There's always like the academic side, and then sort of like the natural artist sort of bohemian side. And can you tell us like about how going to art
Yeah,
school has had affect on what you do, and how much affect it has had versus like just the natural artistry that you clearly display?
going in, I never really wanted to go to school and anything. I kind of always hated school, so like I just wanted to be doing my thing and like doing my art, and I always knew that's really what I wanted to do. My mom kind of pushed me to go to school. My mom always been my biggest supporter and like believing in me and stuff. So like really want me to make the biggest thing I could out of it and like push me to like bring it to another level. But to me, like I feel like I always see things in like a little bit different way. So like I always knew like I'm gonna get to that level no matter what. But like so
I
going to
love it.
school, it was hard because like I feel like I have like a rawness like to what I do because I kind of like a lot of things like I like to teach myself. So when I go to school, it's like almost like I wanted to like unlearn anything they would try to teach me. Like I want to just keep my natural rawness. So like it was hard to like go through the schooling part and like have people tell me what to do or like how this is the right way when it's like that's not the way I naturally think or like the way I would want to do it. So I got through it and it's like almost like I look at it as like the connections I made. And then obviously there's little techniques and stuff like that you learn along the way. Maybe I wouldn't have tried or wouldn't have thought of. But if you just kind of like pay attention to like who you are at your core and do what you like and like kind of like trust yourself, it always comes out in a better way than trying to like go by the book and do kind of what you're taught through like a schooling kind of setting. Now, especially now that I've done a lot of things, like bigger things, it's like almost like they want to like attach to that. But I'm like all that stuff just came from me just kind of meeting people or just being myself and like kind of letting things happen naturally. So it really doesn't have anything to do with schooling. So it's not like, I feel like it's like almost like they try to like attach and be like, oh, like you could paint cleats or do something like whatever, do this, but that's nothing to do with it. You just gotta be yourself, you know?
Yeah, a friend of mine once said to me, like the thing is you go to college and you learn all these things, and what we're really doing, I think, is when you go to school to learn how to think, right? You find out who you are and you learn how to think. It's the same thing with music. Like, there's the old adage that if you go to Berkeley,
Yeah.
School of Music, and you're a performance major and you graduate, and I think I've said this before on other episodes, is that, if you graduate Berkeley with a performance degree, something went wrong because you never got your gig, right? You never got out on that tour, or you never,
It,
whatever. So, I mean, it's just a testament to your natural artistry. And I think that that's really cool that you used it in the way that you saw fit, as opposed to following the process that, the school said, this is what you should do.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Switching gears a little bit, it seems, or just reading on your site a little bit, it seems like painting is really at the core of your self expression. What is it about painting that triggers your self expression? What is it about painting specifically, or muraling? Because it seems like the painting process,
Yeah.
the creating the visual, is what really turns you on.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I've always been like a really kind of quiet kid and like really shy and stuff. And like art is the way I always express myself. It's almost like me being able to talk and say what I want to say without actually say it in with words, you know? I always drawn since I was really young and everything. But once I really got into like painting and bringing things to life in that way, that's like my first love. Like it was just everything to me. I get most of my inspiration, I feel like, through other forms of art, like especially music. I've always had like a deep connection with like music or film, and that I'm always like constantly thinking of paintings and like thinking of ideas and how to put that into things and kind of like picking little pieces, taking references from stuff. It's how I express myself, but it's just like the way I live and breathe. Like everything I think about comes into like my painting somehow. Like so,
Yeah.
and then like murals, it like changes the whole space to where you're at. Like it might be an area that you could walk by, people might walk by it every day and it's like more depressing, or like maybe people just don't think anything of it. But then like when you put a mural there, it changes the whole space and kind of like change the area, like help kind of like grow the area you're in, you know, and kind of
Yeah.
make people think of it a little bit when they look by and might brighten their day or something. So it's cool like having the interactions with people too when I'm painting. That's like the most important thing, I feel like.
I never thought about that, like there's this sort of self-fulfilling artistry where the art's flowing through you, but you're saying, no, man, this is a communal thing. Like I'm painting, but I'm having conversations as people are walking by, and there's differences in emotions
Yeah.
happening, and now we're changing literally the vibe of the space surrounding the area where the art is happening. And it's true. It's a
Yeah,
significant cultural affect, and I've never seen it from that perspective before. And I think that's really awesome. And I think that happens with all mediums. But one of the things that I saw yesterday is in the Musicians Union, they sent out a support letter. I don't know if been following this, but Bruce Springsteen spoke out against the president, and now there's all this media like calling him to the carpet, saying he's a terrible person and this and that. So the Musicians Union came out
crazy.
and said, we stand in solidarity with Bruce Springsteen. So, like, millions and millions of musicians across the country right now are standing up and saying, we stand in solidarity. And that's completely like changing the vibe because
That's
I feel
amazing.
like a lot of people are just so stressed out and from day to day that solidarity and that art and the communal connection, just to relate to it a little bit on the music side, is really changing the vibe of that, even we can call virtual space, right? So I totally get where you're coming from, and I think
Oh,
that that's really
definitely.
cool. And the coverage that you've gotten is a testament to the change that you've procured. I was going to ask you a little bit
Thanks,
about
man.
your philosophies as an artist, but I feel like that's a little bit redundant. But like, is there feel or something that you're chasing that you haven't gotten to yet? Like, because there's the natural, like I'm being an
Yeah.
artist and I'm painting and I'm doing all this stuff, but is there something that you're chasing?
It's hard to say because I don't fully like know exactly where like as my art progresses and goes in different ways. Like I don't know exactly what it's leading to. It's not like I'm chasing anything in particular. A lot of times, like I don't reach out to a lot of things. I just kind of like wait for things to come to me naturally. The art is more, it's like bigger than me. So like a lot of times when, especially with murals and things like that, when people can connect to it and bring their own thing to it, and it brings another thing to someone else. So like I think that's cool about the mural art because then it's like on display and kind of people take ownership to it in a different kind of way than just like my own personal art. Now I'm more about just really representing like my family and like the people like around me that I really care about and like bringing like kind of honoring them and like bringing like all these like kind of personal stories and like personal things to like a lot of my art.
That's so cool. Dude, I think the quote of this conversation so far is the art is bigger than me. Like that's I'm not trying to be hyperbolic or
Yeah.
like nerdy, but like that's profound. The art is bigger than me. You're a component of your art, right? Like whereas other
Thanks,
folks are
man.
like, no, we're gonna do it like this. We're gonna do like, you played in bands, right? I mean, I can't tell you how many arguments I've gotten into. No, it should go here. No, it should go there. Well, no, let's like let it flesh itself out, right? And the bands that I've done well in are
Oh,
the
for
ones
sure.
that you let it happen. You kind of like let it progress. So I just think that's like really
Definitely.
humble of you. Switching a little bit, who are the artists that influenced you in any of the mediums that you participate? Whether it be art, music, design. Tell us a little bit about how they've influenced you.
Yeah, I think no matter what type of art, like I kind of pick things from all different types of like different mediums. A lot of people expect like being an artist, your biggest inspirations would be like another painter or another like visual artist. But to me, I feel like I get more inspiration from like music. Jimi Hendrix has always been like a huge influence, inspiration for me. Like somebody that's like innovative like that, especially film even too. Real thing I get my biggest inspiration is just storytelling. Like I've always like had like a deep love and appreciation for like blues music, and I feel like that's what I try to emulate a little bit in my art. Just like something that breathes soul and like has a feeling, but also tells a story. To me, it's like the most like kind of like emotional like there's the most like feeling in it. I guess like the other version of that would be like grungy music kind of stuff. Sometimes like almost like even like Nirvana or something like that. I could almost like feel like that same kind of feeling where it's like a rawness. And like I
Yeah.
feel like I always gravitate towards that kind of stuff. I was like 15 wearing like a Robert Johnson shirt. So like I feel like I've always like kind of connected and felt like that. So that's like I guess when you're talking about before like chasing anything, like I feel like that's kind of like more what I like put out.
You're chasing your emotional connection to the medium. Yeah, no, that makes complete sense to me, and that's what I was talking about. Music, by the way, there's a documentary on Netflix right
Yeah.
now about Robert Johnson, and I'm not going to give the whole thing away because there's that whole the lore around him, like meeting the devil at the crossroads, and the hellhounds on my trail and all that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
um, and how he died too, right? Like supposedly he was like a womanizer, and one of the places that he played at, the rumor is that like the person who ran the place, one of two things. Number one was a man of the cloth, so he believed that Robert Johnson's music was the devil's music because of that myth. And then the other one was potentially he had messed around with the owner's wife. But anyway, he died because they gave him poisoned whiskey that night, right? So like he went home and like basically bled to death, right? And you're in the middle of the deep
Yeah,
south,
that's crazy.
so it's not like the police are going to show up really quick and get you to a hospital. And it's hard to, growing up in New England, at least for me, it's like I didn't, those kinds of things don't resonate because it's like, oh, I can get to Hartford Hospital like fast if I need to. I can get to Bay State up here in Massachusetts.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like like I spent a week and a half on a coffee farm in Nicaragua a few years back, and we did a roundtable with those people, and we asked them like, what do you guys do if there's like a serious injury? And they're like, we do our best to try to treat it. Like, meaning there's no hospitals within 3 or 4 hours.
that's
That's
crazy.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, yeah, just all cultural stuff.
Yeah,
One of my favorite of your pieces was the
yeah,
one that you did of Nipsey Hussle. That style of music, like I got really, really into like Jay Dilla. I got into Mac Miller. I got into some of the trap style music, but mostly that Dilla style. And I read a lot about Dilla, through the Questlove book and all that
yeah,
kind of stuff. And that style, that push pull drumming style, and I sort of see Nipsey in that same space. That particular mural, not only
yeah.
did it get viral internet attention, but you had a ton of coverage by the local news. But that particular mural really, I thought, expressed the essence of Nipsey Hussle because I had to go back and research. I didn't know a lot about him. Can you tell us what was going through your mind as you created that, and like how did you do it, right? Because like I know some people when they do murals will they'll open up a graphic design program and like sketch it out first, right? And then go and then paint the mural.
Yep.
Were you painting from memory? Did you have a sketch? Did you have pictures that you went by? Like what's your process?
So that one, I mean, that hip hop has always been like another huge part of like my life and like kind of who I am, like to my core. I almost like look at it in a hip hop way of like how like Jay Dilla, where he would take little pieces from things and like chop it up into like little references or like have little pieces that he makes into his own thing. And like that's how I kind of look at art. Like I'll just take a lot of different things and like so hip hop has always like connected with me and like on a huge level. And when I found Nipsey, kind of it was like pretty early before he was bigger and like one of his mixtapes. Then and I kind of like saw some videos about just like little interviews and stuff with him, like what he was like kind of about and like kind of everything he stood for with his community and stuff. I just like really connected like with who he was as a person and like his spirit. So when I heard that he like got killed and everything, then it just like I felt like he was somebody that like deserved a mural. I feel like he's bigger than like the his music. He's bigger than like he's
Mm,
whatever he's like connecting with and bringing people together. That it was somebody that like really deserved that kind of like honor. I feel like those are the best pieces. So I went to the skate park there. That's called Heaven Skate Park in Hartford, and there's like it's a legal graffiti spot, so you can paint whenever you want, and like you won't get messed with or anything. So that spot, I actually had a portrait I did there before for it was like a mini festival. It was like one of the first ones they had. There was like a character festival, so people painted different characters, and I painted Marlon Wayans from Don't Be a Menace. Like it was a kind of just like a that's always been one of my favorite like movie
yeah, it's great.
characters.
That's a fun movie.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it was like I just did that one, but then this one took I painted over that because it was starting to get covered a little bit, and then in the same spot put the Nipsey one. So I kind of just like I didn't want to paint over anyone else's stuff or whatever. I just kind of took my own thing, and then that one kind of has claimed that spot, and it's been there probably at least like 6 years now,
It's
and it's
awesome.
gotten messed with a little bit, but like I always go back and try to like touch it up and just keep it alive. It was crazy because I was down there I was down there all day by myself. I called like one of my friends and he came and painted just like a little he's a graffiti artist and he just wrote like RIP Nipsey next to it and did his thing. And then by the time he got down there, like all of a sudden people like the whole street was just flooding with people because they saw it like getting posted up on Facebook and stuff. And then like all these cops came, like shut the whole streets down, like, and just like everyone, it turned into like this huge like block party. And then like people came, like there was like people from different gangs and stuff. Like they were like, "Yo, this is like the only way that like you would bring us together." And like it was just like such a cool, like real, like a real moment and a real community experience, like where people just came and like even the cop just let it all happen, and they all the streets were shut down. Like there was like 500 people down there by the end of the day. So
That's
and it just like kind of grew naturally, and then just kept going.
Corey, that's
Yeah,
profound.
and I did it. I think it was maybe the timing too. Thanks, man. Yeah, it was like a really cool, like special moment, and like felt like real, like just like kind of real love and real honor for him, and like honor for like what he stood for about bringing people together, and like um I don't know, it's just like it felt like a really cool, natural kind of thing, and like something I never even thought about. Like it was just kind of me, just like expressing myself, like I usually do, and like coming from my heart, and then I feel like everything just kind of people recognize that, and it just kind of comes together naturally, you know?
Wow.
So I feel like it's like a testament to kind of what I'm about too. Like it's like more that's it just kind of happens that way.
That's
Like
cool, man. I didn't know any of that. That's
thanks.
unbelievable. Yeah. Um, so I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about that going, wow, I can't even imagine
Yeah,
having that to, cause like, I don't know, when I was coming up in music, it was always like, all right, how do you build a crowd? How do you build a crowd? How do you do this? How do you do that? But you were just like, I feel that I need to pay tribute to this person, and it spoke to so many people that it just created this cultural event. That's like sacred. That usurps entertainment. That's true artistry. It's community and it's connection. I think that's what we're missing. Is it just in general in humanity on a whole? So I think that's really
yeah.
awesome too. I remember when we were at that festival up at Talcott Mountain.
The hike to the mic.
Yeah, yeah, hike to the mic. Yeah, yeah, yeah. One of the things that we
Yeah,
talked about, you had mentioned that you were doing at the time cleats for different artists, and I think Antonio Brown, and you had designed his cleats.
yeah.
So how did that all happen? How did that all come about?
The football player Ocho Cinco, he was like always be my brother's favorite. He's like a big kind of just a big personality kind of character. So I took a lot of things that he did like on the field and like celebrations and stuff, and kind of like compiled it together and just made like kind of like a funny little piece like I was just doing for my brother. When I made it for him, he made me a Twitter and then put up a picture of it, and within like 5 minutes, the Ocho Cinco, he saw it, and then he was like, "Oh, I love that piece. I need it, or I want to buy it, or whatever." And then I
Wow,
was just like, "Really? That's great!" Like my brother told me, you couldn't believe it, and then so it that kind of just opened that connection. It was like something I never expected, and then like I didn't even have any Twitter, Instagram, any of that stuff. My brother always like helped me with that stuff. From that, I met Antonio, and he's from Miami, like where Ocho is from. So then he reached out to me and wanted me to paint a picture of his son. And he was like, it was early on, like he was just coming into the league and stuff. And then I've always actually been a big Steelers fan, so it was cool. Like he ended up being on the Steelers and stuff. When I did the portrait of his son, and then we went out to Pittsburgh with my brother, and then we met up, and then me and Antonio just became like friends from there. And it's been like probably like 12 years now.
that's
So we've
awesome.
done like a lot of different collaborations, and kind of just like, but I feel like it's more just like kind of what I was saying before with the school thing. It's just like just natural connections happening and me being myself, and then things just kind of like snowball from there. And one day I was out. I used to go to Pittsburgh a lot, like it's when he was playing there. And one day we were just like in the kitchen, kind of before the season started. I think the first game was like 2 days away from that or something. And then he was just like, "Yo, you want to try to paint like my cleats, and let's try to do something fun." And I just did like a really simple pair, just kind of painted them. And then from there, like a lot of people saw it, and it kind of like turned into a bigger thing. And then he's like, "Let's just do one for like every game." So then I just did one for every game in the season. But then I tried to like make more that are like more with messages, not just like the first one I did was like clouds. It was just like simple. Then I did ones of like all his kids. Then it was like more like messages, like kind of like relating to like what's going on, like something in the world, or like honoring somebody that he was like inspired by or something, or they used to wear these bumblebee uniforms. So I and his favorite like one of his idols is Muhammad Ali. So I kind of put those things together and did like a thing that said like float like a butterfly sting like AB because that's his nickname. So then
Oh,
that just kind of
sick.
like became like a little thing. And yeah, yeah. So it could either be like more deeper, heartfelt messages or some that are more fun. We just kind of had fun with it, and it took off into like a bigger thing than I thought it would. Like, but I just kind of tried to treat it the same way I would like a canvas or any other type of art, and just kind of just put myself into it a little bit, do it the way I would do it. Then it led to a lot of different connections. Like there was like all of a sudden like Pepsi and like different companies were reaching out to me and they wanted to do like product things or whatever, or like Microsoft asked me to be in like a commercial they wanted me to paint for and stuff, and like just crazy stuff like you would never think where your art kind of can take you. So, and then it was cool from there. You kind of use those connections, and I feel like for me, like I know like if I had like a different personality, I guess I probably could have hyped it up more and got a lot more from it, but
Yeah.
it's just not me. So like a lot of those things like end up, they just fizzle out after a while, and then things
But
like
but it
you hold on to what feels right. So
Yeah, but people spend like their whole lives trying to make something like that happen. And by you being yourself and not trying to be anything else
yeah,
other than letting the art speak through you, these things happened on their own. And I believe I do. I believe things happen for a reason. And the relationships that you've made
definitely.
and the connections that have happened, it's almost like forcing me to step back and say, don't think of it as a connection. It's not a connection. It's not, Corey didn't grow in an industry. Corey was just being an artist, right? Like he didn't make a connection with a football player.
Yeah,
There was
yeah,
just this dude who liked his art. And so he said, design my cleats, right? Like that's the truth, right? I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like we sensationalize all of these things when if we just step back and be ourselves, we're doing what we're supposed to do, right? And
Yeah, exactly.
you're such a testament to character. And I think that's my learning here is like just understanding and giving yourself room to be who you are, right? And if there's anything
Yeah,
I've learned
thank you,
from you,
man.
it's that.
Yeah,
Yeah. So thank you. Um,
thanks so much, man.
yeah, I just want to say two things. We'll kind of wrap us up here. Number one, congrats on your little one. Beautiful. I
Oh,
love
thanks so
that the
much.
art is flowing as a result of having a child. I remember that moment. When my little girl was born, and I know the feeling that you're feeling
Yeah,
right
how
now.
old
So
is she now?
congrats. She's 9. She's 9. I feel the joy between the two of us on this, just having a kid and going through that experience. And I also know that you're probably not getting a lot of sleep, so I understand that too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. She never wants to sleep, but it's worth
no,
it.
no, man, they don't. But it's a good thing, right? Going through that makes us, it's like you grow exponentially in those years.
Having my baby girl makes me like look at things differently too. Where like a lot of times I feel like I'm just being kind of like I guess like the way I am, like a lot of times I'll get into like doing something where I just kind of get like taken advantage of a lot or something, and I end up doing all these things where I'm just like taking so much of my time and effort and energy into doing something where it's not really worth it for me. So, but having her is made me like really it's made me like kind of stand up against that stuff more in a way that I probably wouldn't. I just kind of let things happen. But like for that, it's like if I'm, especially with time or anything, like I want anytime I have that's extra, I just want to spend with her. So it's
Yeah,
like
you've got
makes me like a better artist and like,
yeah, man, you've got
yeah,
your
definitely a better person or whatever, anything. Like it's so cool. And yeah, she'll paint with me sometimes too. Like
ah,
it's crazy that she's like before she was even 1, she'll grab a brush and she watches me and she'll like go dip it in like the water and stuff and try to like paint on like she'll paint on like a box I had or like a little canvas, whatever. She gets so excited. Like the first time she did it, it literally made me want to cry. Like it was so cool.
oh, dude, that's so cool. Yeah, no, it's so exciting, and I can tell like when you say like you're standing up more for yourself because you've got your dad guard on, right? Like now it's like everything I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
I have to do it with my daughter in mind, and I'm the same way. Everything that I do, every decision that I make has my daughter as part of that equation, right?
Yeah.
You know, and so I totally get that, and it
No, that's amazing, man.
makes us better, right? It makes us better people. Dude, this has been awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wrap this by saying, like, what's on the horizon, man? What are you working on? You've got that awesome gallery on your site that I'm going to direct people to on this thing, and I'm going to, put up a bunch of promotion for you and stuff in the video.
Yeah.
Like, what's next? What's coming up?
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like this summer I have a few things hopefully in the works, like some more murals. Like I know I'm gonna be doing one in Weathersfield, hopefully another one in Hartford, and I'll be at Brooklyn the end of this month. There's like a festival called the Bushwick Collective. That's always a cool festival. So it's like artists from all over the world. You have to get like invited out, and then you get a wall. You can do whatever you want. So I always look forward to those kind of things where I can just really completely do everything I want to do and just kind of like be myself as an artist and just kind of like paint whatever I want to paint. Because like a lot of times doing the murals around anywhere else, it's you got to when you're going through the city or someone else's building, it's always kind of like little inputs of their idea where it's not fully yours, and you kind of you work within it to make it your own. But it's when you can have like full artistic freedom to do whatever you want. It's like really when you get to express yourself and like show what you can do. So I'm always excited for those moments.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's definitely something to look forward to. And then I don't really know what else. Like I've really been missing like doing like playing music or like I'm always super into film and stuff. So I think I want to try to do like another type of art form too, where it's I don't know. I feel like that's the way I am, where like I'll get almost like a little burnt out on one thing and I go to the next, and then it makes me kind of like refreshed for that next moment and like make me learn a little bit differently. So I'm
Yeah,
definitely feeling in that kind of mode right now.
we have to keep that line of like what we need to do and what makes us happy going, I guess. And what's really fascinating and
Yeah.
amazing about this particular conversation is that you are one of those very unique people who has been able to just say, I am going to be me. I don't care what anybody else thinks. I don't care what's happening in the world, and I'm going to manifest it. And you've done that.
Yeah.
And so I think that's important, that people know about that, and people do already.
Thanks, man.
But that's what I want to do. I want to share that.